You know what's crazy? The person in the house with the biggest brain, the one with like the advanced degree and the insanely complicated Excel sheets, is usually the exact reason the family is stuck financially. I mean, I'm just saying.
I feel personally attacked right now. But look, you're not wrong. Because, and this is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, there is actually a point where you can be too smart for your own good when it comes to building wealth, I mean.
Right, like you tried to outsmart everything.
Exactly. You think, I'll just apply my genius intellect, figure out some secret loophole nobody else knows about, and bam, we're rich. But the truth is, smart people fall into these very predictable traps, traps that literally cost their families millions over time.
Millions! Okay, wait, before you scare everyone and me, let's quickly do the intro. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Frank. Welcome to Talk and Wonder. We create easy-to-understand whiteboard animations covering family finance, investing, passive income, and debt management.
Our goal is to break down complex financial topics, help you avoid traps, and build wealth together. If you want to secure your future, you are exactly in the right place. So, these smart money traps, what's the first one? Because I know you have a list.
I always have a list. The first one is, well, let's call it the waiting until you're ready trap.
Oh God, analysis paralysis.
Yeah, because if you're smart, you've been rewarded your whole life for being prepared, right? So when it's time to actually invest the family's money, what do? You open like a dozen browser tabs.
Or 40. I remember when we were looking at index funds, you had, what was it? ChatGPT open, 3 different Reddit threads, a spreadsheet.
It was okay, maybe it was closer to 40 tabs, but that's the thing. I thought, I need to know everything about tax optimization and asset allocation before I commit a single dollar. Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, someone who's just lazy?
snap, basically yes. Someone who isn't trying to be the smartest person in the room reads one good article, opens a retirement account, sets up a $500 automatic monthly transfer, and then just goes outside to play with their kids.
Right, because they don't care about having the perfect strategy. They just set it and forget it.
And here is where the math it blows my mind. Look, imagine two people, same $500 a month. Person A is the lazy one, starts at age 25. Person B, the smart one, decides they need to read, 44 textbooks on portfolio construction first.
44 textbooks? That's gonna take what, 10 years?
Exactly. So person B doesn't start investing until age 35. They invest for 30 years. By the time they retire, they have, wait, let me make sure I have the exact number. I think it's around $585,000.
Okay, 585K. Not terrible.
Not terrible. But person A, the one who never read a textbook since they were 20 and just started 10 years earlier, guess how much they end up with?
I don't know, maybe like 800K? A million?
$1.2 million.
Wait, are you serious right now? Double?
More than double, just because they didn't overthink it. That time spent getting ready literally cost the smart person over $600,000 in returns. The investing world doesn't care how many browser tabs you have open. It actually doesn't even reward understanding.
It rewards time.
Yes, time in the market. But this perfectionism, it doesn't just show up when we open accounts. It bleeds into our daily lives too in this incredibly exhausting way where we start perfectly executing a completely flawed plan.
Oh, you mean the $3 questions?
Yes. Look, smart people love solving problems, but sometimes we get really good at solving the wrong ones. We optimize our coffee consumption, right? Like if I switch from this blend to that blend, my daily coffee is $3.25 instead of $3.75.
Right. Or couples. I mean, we see this all the time. Couples literally fighting at the dinner table over a $15 Netflix subscription, or spending hours tracking like 7 different credit cards for points.
The credit card points. Should I use this card for gas and that one for groceries and this one to buy a bagel?
Exactly. They get so deep in the $3 weeds that they completely ignore the $30,000 questions.
Right, and this is trap number 2. We waste our brain power on micro-optimizations instead of the big wins. Things like, can I negotiate my salary? Or am I paying a 1% fee to my financial advisor?
Which, spoiler alert, is massive. We'll get to the advisor thing in a minute.
Huge. But let's just take the salary negotiation because people always say, "Oh, my boss will never say yes." Let's say you negotiate a $5,000 raise, just 5 grand.
Okay, which is totally doable for most professionals if they actually bring proof of their value, right?
Exactly. Be a top performer, exceed your goals. Don't just walk in and say the economy is bad, pay me more. But watch the math here. If you get that $5,000 raise and you just invest that extra 5K every year for, let's say, 40 years at a 7% return,
Okay, I'm trying to do the math in my head.
you would retire with just over $1 million from one conversation.
Frank, stop. Wait, are you serious right now? A million?
$1 million. Instead of trying to cut $50 out of your grocery bill by couponing for 10 hours a week, you solve 100 smaller problems in one single move.
It's so true. There is a limit to how much you can cut, but there's no limit to how much you can earn. Earning more gives the family breathing room. It gives you choices.
It does, but, well, here is the kicker.
There's always a kicker with you.
Even if you do this, even if you negotiate the raise or you start a side business and your income finally goes up, there's a common trap that pretty much guarantees that new money won't help you build wealth at all.
Because as soon as the extra money hits the joint account, you suddenly feel like, we deserve it. Like, oh, we've been working so hard. Let's upgrade the car. Let's get the Range Rover because, we need the extra trunk space for the kids.
Right, the trunk space. Trap number 3 is resetting your starting line, lifestyle creep. And for smart people, this is incredibly dangerous because, well, we are very good at justifying things.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, we literally did this. We almost bought that ridiculously expensive SUV because we thought, hey, Frank's income is going up. It'll keep going up. We can stretch the budget a little. The logic was impeccable.
The logic was, yeah, let's not talk about that car. But that's exactly how couples end up making multiple six figures and still have no actual net worth. They think wealth grows purely based on their income.
Which it doesn't.
It doesn't. Wealth only grows in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. If you make more and immediately spend more, you're running on a treadmill. That's why I think the stat is like 1 in 3 households making between 100K and 150K still worry about paying their basic bills.
1 in 3? That is wild, because to a lot of people, 150K is the dream number.
Exactly, but they loosen the reins. Their new income level becomes their new baseline. So here is the rule to fix it. The next time you or your partner gets a raise, you take that extra money and you split it. 80% of the new money immediately gets sent to your investments.
And the other 20%?
You blow it. Have a blast. Go to a nice restaurant, book a trip, buy the bag. Do it completely guilt-free.
Because the 80% is already securing the family's future. You don't even have to think about it.
Right? You give yourself permission to enjoy your life now while still building serious wealth. But see, this is where it gets scary.
Okay, why? What if a family does this perfectly? They automate the 80%, they stop arguing over the Netflix bill. What could go wrong?
Well, they might make the one arrogant mistake that just drains the whole bucket. Because these next 2 traps, if you aren't careful, they will literally erase hundreds of thousands of dollars from your family's future, even if the rest of your system is flawless. Starting with trap number 4. Thinking you are somehow smarter than the market.
The I know exactly when to buy and sell phase.
Right, it's the ego thing again. People think, well, I'm a doctor or I'm an engineer, I'm highly educated, so I can watch the news and predict the stock market. But timing the market look, it's an absolute disaster.
How bad are we talking? Like you miss out on a few $1,000s?
Try tens of thousands. Listen to this study. If you invested $10,000 and just left it alone for 15 years, you'd end up with around $30,000.
Okay, triple your money. Easy.
But if you try to time the market based on the news and you end up missing just the 30 best trading days,
You still make a profit though, right? Just less?
no. You end up with $6,873. You literally lose money.
Wait, you dropped from 30K to 6K just by missing 30 days over 15 years?
Exactly, because the best days in the market usually happen right after the worst days when everyone is panic selling. Over 80% of professional investors, people whose entire job is to beat the market, fail to do it. So thinking we can outsmart it is, well, it's preposterous.
Okay, so if we can't beat the market ourselves, the natural smart move is to hire someone who can, right? Like you finally have some real assets, so you hire a pro.
And that brings us to trap number 5, overpaying for a false sense of security.
But wait, having a financial advisor is the responsible adult thing to do, isn't it?
It sounds responsible, and look, I love paying for experts. I'd pay a personal trainer, I'd pay a CPA. But paying a financial advisor a percentage of your assets, a 1% fee, it's genuinely shocking when you run the math.
Okay, lay the math on me. How bad is 1%?
Let's say you have $50,000 in investments. Actually, let's include monthly contributions. Say you add $1,000 a month for 35 years. If you use an advisor charging a standard 1% fee, you retire with about $1.7 million.
Okay, 1.7 million is pretty good, Frank. We'd be happy with that.
We would. But what if you did it yourself? What if you just put it in a simple, low-cost index fund, which takes literally 10 minutes to set up online?
Okay, what's the number without the advisor?
Over $2 million.
Frank, stop. Are you serious right now? Are you telling me we pay them to lose $400,000 of our family's money?
Yes, $400,000 goes straight into your advisor's pocket for the exact same return, because that 1% fee, it's not a fixed cost. It compounds. The better your investments do, the larger your portfolio grows.
The more they take from you every single year. That is insane. So what, we just never hire help? We do everything ourselves?
No, you can hire help, but pay them an hourly rate. Pay a flat fee for a project. I will gladly pay a great financial planner $500 an hour to review our plan, but I will never, ever hand over a percentage of our portfolio.
Right, because if you keep it simple and DIY, you keep that 400 grand for our kids, for our retirement.
Exactly, which actually leads to the weirdest problem of all. Once you set up this system, the low-cost index funds, the automatic transfers, you hit this emotional wall that destroys a lot of smart people.
An emotional wall. Like what?
What wall? Because so far this sounds pretty straightforward. Automate, don't try to time the market, don't overpay for advice. What's the emotional wall?
It's track number 6, the tragedy of good investing. And it sounds insane, but the more successful your investment system is, the more boring it becomes.
Boring? But isn't that the goal? To have a system that just works.
It is the goal, but once you've cracked the code, once your automatic investments are funded every month, and you've built a portfolio that's steadily growing, sometimes by thousands, even millions, it stops feeling exciting.
Right. It's not like checking your crypto wallet every 5 minutes or scrolling through Wall Street bets. It just ticks along.
Exactly. And when you see everyone else talking about AI stocks or the latest market correction, and your portfolio is just chugging along, quietly compounding, you start to feel like you're missing out, like you're not smart enough anymore, even though it's working perfectly.
That's the intellectual high. You're chasing the thrill of being in the know, of making a smart move, instead of just letting the boring system do its thing.
Yes, your investments should be boring. They are not entertainment. You don't want to be on Reddit looking for the next meme stock. You want to have fun, get a dog, watch a TV show. This is about building wealth, and wealth rewards consistency, not novelty.
So if our investments feel boring, that's actually a good sign?
It's the best sign. It means your system is working. You've automated your finances, paycheck comes in, investments get funded first. Let the years of compounding build serious wealth. Simplify, use a target date fund or a set of index funds, and then review your accounts maybe twice a year.
And don't mess with the turkey when it's cooking?
Exactly. Don't touch it. And if you absolutely can help it, if you need that little thrill, create a separate, tiny, fun money portfolio. 5% of your portfolio, invested in whatever random, speculative stuff you want, and just accept that you might lose all of it.
But the other 95%, that stays locked down, automated, boring.
Lockdown, automated, boring. That's how you build real wealth. It's simple, but it's hard because it goes against our natural inclination to be smart and active.
So the ultimate goal for a smart couple is to embrace the boring.
Embrace the boring. And if you want the exact steps to automate every piece of your money system, to finally stop overthinking and start building real wealth, check out this video next.